It's the start of a new year, and if you're like most people, getting in shape both physically and financially might top the list of New Year's resolutions. But we've all heard the stats on keeping those resolutions, and no matter where you look, the story is the same. Most people give up only a few days into the new year. So, if you're looking to whip your finances into shape, how can you set yourself up for success? The Client Classroom starts now. Before we talk about putting together a realistic plan to achieve any financial goal, let's first understand why most financial resolutions fail. And much of what I'm going to share with you today is not only what I've seen in nearly 20 years of working with people, but it's also what I've experienced personally as well. And I'll tell you this, what we'll talk about today can be applied to any goal, not just your money. So let's dive in with some common things people do that will most likely set you up for failure. Mistake number one, going to extremes. I'm gonna pick on budgets for a second. Everybody talks about budgeting, and you might think this is the year you're gonna create a budget and actually stick to it. But why do most people hate budgeting and in turn never do it? Because when somebody in my position suggests a budget, people hear no more fun. In other words, they have to create and stick to some rigid limits or else you'll never achieve your goal. The reality is that budgets need to have some flexibility built into them, and they need to have some fun built into them. Don't let perfection get in the way of progress. Here's an example. What do experts typically recommend you save for retirement as a percentage of your income? Go ahead, I'll wait. If you said 10 to 15% of your gross income, you're right. But what if you can't do that? It might not be realistic for a number of reasons. So, does that mean if you can't save 10 to 15% and you can only save 5%, are you a failure? The answer is no. But most people will feel like that, and as a result, they might give up altogether, which is not good at all. Mistake number two, looking for a quick fix. So why do we try to go to such extremes? Usually it's to get a quick fix to a problem, but the reality is that if you're financially out of shape, it's probably happened over a period of time, and maybe large unexpected bills that you couldn't pay off only exacerbated those underlying problems. But listen, there is no financial problem that can't be fixed. It may require making some sacrifices and may require some time, but it can be done. One of my favorite quotes, and there are a number of variations attributed to various people, is this: people often overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. And the problem becomes that when we don't see the results in a short period of time, we give up. It's the small habits every day that compound into unbelievable results in the long run. So yeah, it might take years to pay off debt or decades to save up $1 million, but it can happen if you're disciplined enough to do the small things every day. Mistake number three, being unrealistic. The idea of a quick fix leads to a bigger issue, and that's of people being unrealistic. I love watching Shark Tank, but I can't help but laugh when entrepreneurs are like, we made $50,000 of sales last year and estimate $2 million this year. So we have a value at the company at $50 million. I mean, let's face it, at that point, they might as well have said the company's worth $1 bajillion. It's the same idea when I see someone say, I need to find a way to pay for my kid's college, and the kid they're talking about has already filled out their applications. It might be a tad too late to save up, but that doesn't mean you or the kid are doomed. Does it increase the likelihood of having to take out loans? Yep. Does that mean you're a bad parent or the kid is doomed? Nope. So, how can we put together a plan that you're likely to stick with? Step one, make it meaningful. Why are you doing this in the first place? What are you trying to accomplish, and why is it important to you? Write it across the top of your list of goals. Make it your mantra, and when things get tough or go off track, because they will, remind yourself of why you're saving money from each paycheck. Step number two, set minimum targets that are realistic. I plan to save 50% of my income may not be realistic. Why? Well, first, because it's a big percentage. Second, because percentages mean nothing. Make it a real number. Say, I'm going to aim to save $50 to $100 a week, or whatever makes sense for your budget. And step three, take baby steps. Okay, so you've committed to saving money each week, but if I ask you what your financial goals are and you say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, oh, and I want to do this and I also want to do that, and so forth and so on, chances are you'll do none of it. Take it one step at a time. Pick something meaningful and stick to it. Get comfortable with it before adding more to your plate. I hope this helps you put together a realistic, achievable, and most importantly, a meaningful list of financial goals for 2024. And remember to bring it with you next time we meet. Talking through it can help you put it all in perspective and decide how to tackle it. From my family to yours, Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you next time in class.